Hello everyone, I'm RobtheMod. This is part 2 of Doom on the PlayStation 4, although I'm playing it on the PlayStation 5, and this is the level Rip and Tear, although the previous episode, which I titled Prologue, is actually supposedly part of the same level. At least according to the Doom wiki. I don't know how true it is, but I'm going to assume it's true, because, yeah, it may not be by the developers, but, you know, I assume that they've gone through the game files and all that, and found out that it is part of the same level. The only reason I split it in editing actually is because, well, it was the perfect place to do it, because it, you know, it came up with the name of the game, Doom, right at the end, and I was like, you know, perfect place to split. But if that is true, it does actually mean that this level takes, what, half an hour to complete then? Because this is about 20 minutes, and that was about 7. So, yeah, around half an hour to complete. Got the shotgun here and obviously the pistol. And I said before, I like the way I'm playing this because it suits my Halo style a lot. Because if you've ever watched the style of which I've played the Halo games, I always seem to like run into enemies and just punch them. So yeah, Doom it perfectly is. That's the style that I like in a shooter. I assume it's going to get harder, like, you know, the further I get into the game. Obviously this is technically only the first level. Yeah, I do like what I've played of Doom so far, which, yeah, I've only played this, you know, so far, but yeah, I have liked what I've played. Unfortunately, this was actually, well, it was actually about, I don't know, about a month ago that I played this at the time of recording. I haven't played the game since, unfortunately, but what I was intending to... Well, you're seeing this in, what, January? I intended that you'd see this, like, at some point in, like, October or whatever, because I was thinking, oh, Halo Infinite won't be that long. And it turns out that Halo Infinite was quite long. There was a lot more of Halo Infinite that I had left to go. Which is why I also partly, you know... It's part of the reason why I decided that 2 videos a week of each game is what needs to happen, because, you know, I couldn't just, you know, there was all these games that I've wanted to play on the channel and I wasn't playing them because of it. Like wasn't recording them or anything. Like, the only reason I played this is because I said it in the last one. My neighbour was like, "Oh, that's actually a really good game. You should play it." And yeah, I took him up on his offer and I decided to play it, and yeah, it is a really good game. But at the same time, yeah, I was recording it and I was like, this is going to take forever to come out. So that's part of the reason why you're getting 2 videos. And obviously you had the previous episode of Doom yesterday. That won't be the case in the future, by the way, if you're new to the channel. The videos will be split up over the week. When I do a new game, you know, what I try and do is I try and have a couple of episodes of that game, like, close enough to each other at least. Later today, by the way, got part 19 of Ratchet & Clank 2 on the PlayStation 3, which I know is a totally different game than Doom, but I thought I'd let you know what's coming up. And I'm using this, like, I use the first-person shooters sort of as like a vlog, because if this isn't obvious, I don't do the commentary live. I do the commentary after the fact. I mean, I know I said that I recorded this about, about a month ago, which, yeah, that should have been obvious when I said that, but yeah, I don't do the commentary live for the first-person shooters, mainly because if you go back and watch the original Halo Let's Play, Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox. The first 2 episodes, I did the commentary live, and it was absolutely terrible. Like, it took like 40 minutes to get through the level. I just kept dying, and I was like, no, this isn't working. It's like every other game on the channel that I was doing at the time. I was doing Gran Turismo 6, I was doing Euro Truck, I was doing Need Speed Most Wanted. I think I might have been doing something else as well, I can't remember. But yeah, all those I was doing, and I was like I could do those live. It was just Halo, it just didn't work that well, and it was like, that was the first-person shooter I did on the channel, and it's like, when you do first-person shooters, you really need to concentrate on what the hell you're doing. And there's some games as well where like I mentioned Ratchet and Clank. Like there's parts where I will actually, like if there's a boss battle or something, and I need to concentrate, I will do the commentary after the fact, which I don't particularly like doing, but it's just it's something you need to do because you're trying to talk and you're also trying to concentrate on the game, and it doesn't always work. But yeah, like I said, I use these sort of as like a little vlog, and what I've actually done before I've just done the commentary here is, speaking of games that I've recorded but you're not going to see for a bit, is well, recently I've been wanting to play Spider-Man on a PlayStation 4, which there's 3 episodes of that recorded now, and also I've just done the 2015 version of Need for Speed, and I've been playing that on the Xbox One. I don't know how many episodes there is of that because I've literally just recorded it, and I'm going to split it in editing, and I'm going to decide how many episodes there's going to be of that. But the issue with that now is that game came out in 2015, so that was at the time of recording, because it's September 2022. That came out 7 years ago, right? Still looks beautiful, by the way. It still looks like a great game. I know there'll be people who'll be like, "Oh, it looks awful now." No, not in my like. Same with Doom here. Like, in my like, maybe it's just because I'm like I've gone back and I've looked at like, because you're watching this on the RobtheMod channel. This used to be the Insane Gamers channel. It used to be called that. And I've gone back and I've like gone through the older videos because I need to like edit some stuff out, which. Don't worry that you're not missing anything. Like, what I'm editing out is I used to have like this end card bit at the end, which YouTube took away the annotations feature, so it didn't work. So I'm editing those out of the really old videos. And also the other thing that I'm doing is I used to have like an intro at the start where it said Insane Gamers, but before that I used to have a funny moment in quotation marks, or like a memorable moment, I should say, from the game, from the footage that you're going to see right at the start. And I'm editing that out as well because I noticed in the analytics that like people would watch that and they'd essentially treat the series like a YouTube short, if you know what I mean. Like, I would have a vast majority, like, if it was something funny and I was like sort of, well, funny in quotation marks, like I said, like if I was screaming at the game because of something stupid happened, like, I don't know, like YouTube analytics wise, like, there'd be people that'll watch the entire video, and then there'd be a lot of people would just turn off as soon as like the Insane Gamers intro appeared. And the intro wasn't long, by the way. The intro was only about like 5-7. In fact, I can tell you because I still have the like the actual file itself. Right, if I type in intro.mp4 here, right, which is what it was literally just called, and then open it, well, I don't want to open it, I don't want to play it, obviously, but if I, like, go into the thing, and I go into properties here, it's 9 megabytes in size, and this is a 1080p file, so, you know, this is a big, it's 9 seconds long, right, so that was really not that long of an intro. Like, you know, you can watch YouTube videos sometimes, and there'll be people with, like, intros that are, like, a minute long, right? And there'll be people in the comments saying, skip the intro. Not on these videos, not on my videos, but, like, on, like, you know, tutorials and stuff where they have, like, a really stupidly long intro. And I just noticed that people stopped watching when the intro came up, and I was like, when I decided to do this whole changing to RobtheMod thing, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna remove the intros from all the old videos. I don't want them. Like, it's really reducing like the watch time and stuff on the channel. It's hindering the growth of the channel. So I decided to stop that. But yeah, I'm doing like the thing is, though, I'm doing like Need for Speed 2015, like I said, and the problem with that is it hasn't come out yet. Obviously, that series of videos. But the other issue is that EA announced a new Need for Speed game, another reboot of Need for Speed, and it's also called Need for Speed. That means there's now 3 Need for Speed games called Need for Speed. The first one's called the first one is called The Need for Speed. Okay, fair enough. Its full title is technically Road and Track Presents The Need for Speed, but no one ever calls it that. They just call it Need for Speed because it's the first one. And then obviously the reboot in 2015 that I've just started playing because I was like, that's the thing. Like, I completely missed this generation of games out. Like, I don't know, like, what happened. Like, I just sort of went off games for a bit. Like, I don't know why. Like, all throughout the PS2 era, which was my first era of games, you know, granted I would be buying used games because I was a kid at that point, but you know, I played a whole bunch of games. In fact, I had so many that, like, I ended up getting... Here's the thing, in the UK, it was, like... I don't know if it's different in America, but, like, even, like, retro stuff in the UK is reasonably cheap. Because we have a chain of stores called CX. But even back in the day, even when I was a kid, games were really not that expensive. Like, there was because there was multiple... Like, you know how, like, in the US there's GameStop? At the time when I was a kid, there was literally multiple chains of stores, right? There was Game, and there was Game Station, and then where I was, there was Grange Games, which focused on used stuff. There was CX, which admittedly hadn't come to my town yet. They came out, I would say, probably about during the 360 PS3 era. And then there was a... This is really going to narrow down where my area is. I mean, they were a regional based store, I should say, but they were Chips. Is literally just what they were called, and they've gone now. But the point is, so there was all these different, like, but the main thing was that there was Game and there was Game Station, and they basically competed with each other on, like, pre-owned offers, and it was amazing. At least in the PS2 era, it was absolutely amazing. Like, genuinely, like, 4 for £10 offers on games that came out, like, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. Which, when you're a kid, you don't really care about how old the game is. You just want to play it, and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I want to play the original Ratchet and Clank. Maybe it was like 3-year-old at that point, I don't know. I was like, yeah, I want to play it. Got it in Game Station, because that was where I believe the, like I said, Game and Game Station, they competed. It depended on the offer that they had. But yeah, I ended up, you know, picking up loads of games. Like, I ended up getting so many that, like, at one point my parents were just like, you gotta get rid of some games, because you've run out of room. So unfortunately, yeah, I had to get rid of a lot of my PS2 games. But then, around 2008, like the 2008 recession, Game Station, they went out of business. So that would have been, like, obviously right at the start-ish of the 360 PS3 era. And then Game ended up buying them, and then they closed all the stores, so there wasn't any, like, competitiveness between the two. So, to be honest, I mean, luckily because CX existed, there was some competitiveness. But in that era of games, I ended up getting a bunch of used games from CX. And then for whatever reason, I don't know why, but, like, this generation, like the PS4, Xbox One generation, like, I got my Xbox One, and I had some, like, I was really into it at the start. Like, I had a bunch of games, and then I just sort of went off the thing, and I never ended up, like, buying. Like, I intended at one point to, like, get, like, a PS4, like, a lot sooner, and it just didn't happen. Like, I didn't end up getting a bunch of games in the era. So there's a load of games on PS4 and on the Xbox One that I just interested me at the time, and I just never had the chance to play. And obviously, one part of the problem, of course, with this era is that there are a bunch of online-only games as well that I'll just never get to play. Which, I mean, doesn't really bother me because I wasn't really... I think that was part of the thing as well. It's like PS2 era. Wasn't really an online person, but the 360 PS3 era, I played a lot of online games, and then I got my Xbox One, but unfortunately, most of the people on my Xbox friends list ended up getting PS4, and I lost contact with them, and I just never That's the thing. When you're playing an online game, you want to play with friends, and when they're not on the same system as you, it's kind of like it's really kind of annoying. So I wasn't really paying attention to what other people were playing, and at one point I was just like, I'm not gonna and it was I just stopped getting games for whatever reason that was. But obviously, I ended up getting PS4 at some point, and now I have a PS5. So I am gonna get back into. Thank God for PS5 being backwards compatible, because it means I will actually be able to play a lot of PS4 games that I missed. But we've got another cutscene coming up here, and then it's the end of the video.
Welcome to the UAC. Now 221 accident-free days.
But yeah, I have been RobtheMod. Thank you very much for watching part 2 of Doom on the PlayStation 4, and ta-ra!